Alright, so we're not quite done with this project yet, if you're following the series. So this thing, it floods when it's cold, and sometimes after it's ran for a little bit, it'll just shut off. I don't think I'm losing spark. If I do, that sucks, because the coil for this OEM is like 35 bucks. So I bought a carb kit. Pretty sure the gaskets are dry on this, being that the primer bulb was just totally disintegrated and dried out. You know, it runs good enough to run, but maybe after getting moistened with fuel, it's not. So let's get that off on a Stihl. You got two 8mm nuts, cover, plate. Take off your fuel line. I mean, not your fuel line, your throttle cable, and then your fuel line. You just gotta pull that back, pull it out. I need two hands. Comes off, and we're gonna take it apart inside because it's too hot in here. It's a Zama carburetor. What is it, a C1Q or something? Something like that. I like to get the fuel out, so you undo these two screws, take your primer bulb off, and dump it. This is a primer assembly. There's even a check valve in there right there. You can check those one way or another. You need like a little vacuum pump. Basically, you have two small screws that hold this onto the body of the carburetor, and the two long screws will be the ones that hold your primer plate and assembly on, like so. So remember that when reassembling your parts. But right here is a diaphragm. This one's kind of dry. It's just old. We're going to be replacing it. On the other side, there's a couple more parts. So you take that out, and that's basically it. You could take the needle out as well and clean that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I did take the needle out. That was like 15 turns to get that out. This isn't the most informative video, but it's a video. These screens get bad on here. I don't think my kit comes with one, which is a bummer. Hopefully it's not varnished up in there, so it's allowing fuel flow. Best to clean the exterior of this too. You don't want anything to fall in when you do it. So again, just clean the outside one more time. Mine's pretty clean though. Oops, out of frame. And mine's pretty clean. So that's the back half with the fuel pump assembly. What did I do with that? Right here. You see there's a plastic shield, and then there's a gasket. Again, this is a Zama C1Q series carburetor. And then here's your diaphragm, and there's a pintle underneath here, and other things. That's kind of dry though. It could be your issue. These are our new parts. It's a Zama RB85 kit for this C1Q S42 carburetor. You know it's a S42, it says on the bottom. And you know it's a C1Q because it says that on the top. So let's go and get this off. See, our new parts are very pliable. Oh, we do get a screen. Look at that. We get a screen, a pintle. This piece, which I usually reuse because that's adjusted, a new spring, and new Welch plugs, which do leak. You just simply peel off the back of this. You see there's a hole that lines up. You peel that off, and that's your pintle. Small screw that holds it on, and you have a main jet and a check valve. And there's the Welch plug, which could be leaking. You should really go around it with some sealant. If I find some, I'll do it. And we're going to pop that screen out because now we know we have one. But again, you could just lightly clean this. Don't put too much pressure in these holes. Let it soak. And hopefully this will resolve our issue. This diaphragm is very dry. And when they get dry like this, it could cause a flooding issue. This is your pintle. It's very hard to see. Small little screw. Then there's a arm, spring. On the end of it you have your pintle, which looks pretty. It looks really just spent and corroded. So we're going to put a new one in, and that goes down that hole right there. So you can spray a little cleaner in there. I'm probably going to put a new spring on as well. Separate our old parts with the new parts. Alright, so that's the old, and this is the new. Yeah, you need good eyesight for this. If you don't have good eyesight, find someone who possibly might have good eyesight. Seriously, I'm not joking. That looks clear down there. Hopefully that hole is clear. Assembly is just the reverse. You have to fit this little rod in here. Put this little bracket on. When you're done, it should just move the slightest bit. And the height on this, I just use the old gasket, but you can use anything. It should be just slightly lower when you put like a straight edge across it than the surface. It should be slightly under. If it's too high or it's too low, you're gonna have problems. And then you have to tweak on this. I just reused the old one. It's not very worn. A little witness marks, but not too bad. And then simply a foam gasket that goes like so. Make sure the holes line up. And then you put your diaphragm back this way over it, and there you go. I might not mess with that screen. If it still runs bad, I'll change it. But there we go. That goes like that. I went to put it on backwards. Oops. So like plastic first, then the gasket, then plate. Some of these might have more screws. This just has a single screw, but you just gotta crack your throttle back, and you can put that thing on. Oh, we gotta put everything back on every 15 turns approximately. Alright, let's throw this on and see how much of a failure or success it is. Gas is in, it probably won't even work now. And it's still messed up. It actually runs maybe worse than what it did. And I get a lot of air in my primer bulb. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this freaking thing just needs a new carburetor. I don't know. I'm not sitting here sweating, trying to figure it out, that's for sure. What a bummer. Waste of money. Waste of money. Sell it. Just might. I'll get back what I have into it. It sort of runs. I hate small engines. Yeah, I never had good luck with Zama carburetors. Actually, I hate them. I seriously do. It's so humid out here and I hate this thing. Alright, so two things. What happens when the tank's low, I get aeration because the pickup's not in the right spot in the tank. I gotta go move it around. And I should have went for an 80-cent gasket or 50 cents because this Carb gasket, this one's good, but the Carb to plastic, I reused that gasket, spray a little throttle body cleaner in there. Falls on his face, because that's why it's idling erratic for. Only really at idle because it's leaking. So I gotta get a gasket between there. But I rebuilt the Carb. I actually rebuilt it again. I changed the this and the screen. The screen was nasty on it, so that made all the difference in the world. So the Welch plug I don't think is bad. I think this Carb is gonna live, but yeah, the only thing I have left to do is that gasket. And I put that shield on too. This thing's such a pain in the ass. Wonder why people just buy lithium-ion electric things these days. Seriously. Like this, I don't know, this gave me trouble too, but I sorted it out. I had a leak on the gasket too, and I made one. They don't make it anymore. Well, I think they do. They make a small one. I should get it. This gasket's Ghetto. And I found a hole punch, so I make better ones now. Old school one, like old made in Germany one. Probably from crazy old grandpa. It had the old Oldsmobile 56 that they sold. One day I'll find it again. I'll buy it back. Old hood ride. Alright, so that's that. Yeah, Carb kit. I guess it did work. Just had to jack with this idle. There's a good site, I'll link it in the description, about Zama and how to rebuild it. It gives you all directions. You really got to crank this all the way down and then take it out one turn and then adjust it from there. Adjust your idle first when it's warm, if you can get it to idle. Then screw with this to make it a little better, and that's it. So it revs fine, it just idles shitty. I thought like the coil was dropping out at first, but no. I actually get a leak right here. Spray it around, you'll just quit immediately. Durr. And I know I'm getting a leak because when I take the Carb off, this whole gasket's wet with fuel and it leaks from the bottom. So it's just old and dried out. But my new shield's good. So we'll do that. I don't think it matters if I get a leak on between this plate, which I might a little bit, but I don't think it matters because the fuel filters, the air filters there. But yeah, it's gonna run. What a pain in the ass, dude. I was just concerned this Carb was a goner, but I'm glad it's not. and that's cool. That's safety, so you can't get pinched up on that. I got that for free because I had eBay points. And it was dirt cheap on eBay. Some people buying these things for 15 bucks on eBay. They're crazy. I paid like $8, and I used my eBay points. And I might have got it from the Stihl shop actually cheaper. So that was stupid on my part, but you know, I don't know. You really gotta price things around. Go crazy. I know I gotta change the oil in this thing. This thing's ticking like crazy again. Probably gotta drop the pan, change that pickup O-ring. If not, the head's gotta come off. I'm doing lifters on it. Bozo's truck, and my thing needs oil change. Bozo will probably just trade it in. He'll wreck it somewhere. It's a good truck though, man. It's got a 138 on it. I'll go. I want to see how far it can go. I think we can get 300 ahead of it. Transmission's shitty on it too. It's the same place that built this one, built that one, but I got to learn how to build transmissions. That's what it comes down to. I should show you on video when it's running. Want to see it? One more time. See? Got a leak. Floods it out. Other fun news, we got rid of a bowling ball. This bike, someone's giving me an extremely low offer on it. I think the place across the street sold, so I gotta bring the wagon back over here. And then this place has to get cleared out, and this place is gonna be for sale. What else? I found a roach in our Stihl last night. It was living in the engine, and I sprayed it with brake cleaner, which is great. Yeah. Is that a roach? I had the dead frog in a truck the other day. What else happened? We were driving on the highway, and we totally lost our cover. I thought I was going to get my cover today, but it comes tomorrow. So you got to carry zip ties. This whole thing just blew apart on the highway. Got that for free. Next thing. So yeah. I'll just throw this in with the other video. If you don't like it, everyone probably shut it off by now. Carburetor video. Yeah, that's cool though. It's safety. What you want, that reduces injury of getting caught in between the blades. That thing was living in my Stihl. I killed it. Brake cleaner. It has my old parts. Not terribly bad. Yeah, I'm saving old parts. I'm being a big time hoarder. I'll probably find a machine next. The broken one of these, and I'll put a used one in just to get it running. To go flip it. I don't know where I am on this, but this is the final thing. I'll see my sloppy handwriting. That gasket was bad. The carb to spacer gasket. Should have just bought one. It was leaking fuel. When these leak fuel, they leak fuel between those two little ports over there, and those are like pulse ports. If you have a leak, that little tiny hole, it's gonna run bad because that's coming off the cylinder, that hole, into the carburetor. And then it was just leaking around it like a vacuum leak. I sprayed carb cleaner and just kill it. I think I have that in the last clip. But it just runs fantastic now. I'm still going to put my shroud on, and I have a plug coming, pack of 8. It runs just awesome. Still spits a little bit, but I think I have too much oil in my gas. And it's greasing like a bastard because I greased the bottom of it. So the greasing system does work on it. Like, really well. Fire it up. This is a warm start. Still kind of warm. On this, I'm gonna need to go prop this phone up. Hold up. I'll prop it up on my cover. I probably won't work too well. I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know, but we'll do it. It's on. Foot in there. Oh, it's not on. I'm a dumbass. Not that. It's not that. Sometimes, you know, it's cooled down. It like floods, and then you gotta give it a little gas, and then it'll clear up though. My fuel pickup's in a bad spot. I gotta fix that. It does that now and then too. I believe I have a the fuel pickup. It's kind of being like pinched off in there. The way it moved, it used to be hanging that way, and then it moved that way when I was rocking it around. I think it might be slightly pinched, so I gotta address that as well. But yeah, it runs. What'll be next? Like K-seals? Probably. Head gasket. It's gonna be on and on and on and on and on. But it's like a 99% improvement over what it was. Stupid gasket though, man. These things will ruin your day, that gasket. I think I said that years ago on the backpack blower. I should have asked them if they had one for a backpack blower. They probably do. I don't have the right gasket for this. I made it. I told the kid I was going to make one. He goes, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I go, yeah, it is. To get that circle right, it's a pain in the ass. The rest is easy. Alright, that's done. Ace Hardware, I called up too. They had no steel parts. Oh, this is a brake too. I didn't even know that. You flip this up, and it'll stop the blades from chattering if you're idling it. And thanks to Everglades Farm Equipment, even though they haven't sponsored me or anything, just good service. Parts were pretty good priced, and they had everything I need, and I got it fast, even if they didn't have it. So I have to thank them for them. Without them, I probably wouldn't be able to obtain these parts for as cheap as I did. I would have been buying them online for double and triple like everyone else does. Stupid. Alright, so that cover's on. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Alright. Amazing. First time I did something like this, I'm just going, wow, what did I just do? But cool machine. Again, I could sell this thing right now. I can get, I don't know, probably on the high end, probably around 250 bucks. And I'll make whatever, 275. Then I'll probably make about 200 profit. I love it. I'm doing my bushes. I'm doing my bushes. Making a mess. Yeah, it's still a little. Again, I haven't screwed with the tank in there. I gotta move that filter around. That plug's old as anything. Some like 2005 used plug NGK, but okay. It's better than a Champion that was in there. I don't know. I spent too much money on this, really. But again, the stuff I really spent money on, I really didn't need it. Like that shroud and the other thing, I probably could have found that for cheap used, but I just wanted new. That was the killer right there. The orange shroud and the recoil. Everything else, I could have had this thing done with probably under 20 bucks. Urgh. Oh well, shit happens. 20 bucks turns into whatever. Probably into this thing close to, well, I'm deducting my scrap metal and my eBay points. So I'm probably into this thing for around like 75 bucks now. Again, $75 for a free unit. I don't know, is it worth it? I don't know. It is an awesome machine. I just hope it lasts, you know, 1 year, 2 years, something like that. Again, if the motor blows up, it's probably going to be something I'm just going to keep fixing, or it needs a coil or something, you know, just, it's going to be that kind of deal.